live.
Say something.
El cielo no es azul, mi amor, ay, mi amor. Y yo dices tú, ay, mi amor, ay, mi amor. Ves todo al revés, ay, mi amor, ay, mi amor.
Hola y bienvenidos a nuestro programa esta semana en Escritorio de los Deportes. Me llamo Jacob.
Hello and welcome to SportzDescx. I don't remember what he said, but his name is Jacob.
Tenemos una persona muy especial en nuestro programa esta semana. Es una estrella del campo en la Universidad de Wisconsin Lutheran. Se llama Kaylin Chevy.
That's right. We have a special guest. Her name is Kaylin Chevy. She is great.
Muy bien.
Unfortunately, we were unable to get the video working, which is kind of why we're on a little bit later than we would normally like to be.
Sí.
But
Lo siento.
we have her on the phone so she can hear us. We can hear her. You
Yep.
can't see her, but you can hear her, hopefully.
You're probably wondering why I was talking in Espanol. It's because it's Cinco de Mayo.
I wasn't wondering.
They might have won. It's Cinco de Mayo. So shout out to that. And Phil says Cinco de Mayo. His last name is
His last name is
That's
Mayo.
pretty good. But anyways, Kaylin, we're so sorry that we're not able to see you this week, but we're at least thankful we can at least hear you. And if people watching can't hear her, let us know so we don't look like idiots for the duration of this episode.
True.
But anyways, I might be throwing in a little bit of Espanol there, here and there. Not to flex, but just to,
Flex.
just to, keep in spirit of Cinco de Mayo. So we got a lot to talk about. Sports Desk coming right at you.
From the penthouse, per usual.
Penthouse.
Kaylin Chevy, do say hi to the people. Let them hear you.
Hello, people. I'm sorry
that's enough.
you can't
Alright,
see
yeah.
me, but it's probably
See.
for the better.
We've heard enough of her. It is a wacky time in the world of sports. During this time, a lot has gone on since we talked to the people last week, including the NFL draft.
That
Now-
is right.
Yeah.
The draft. And it was a process. I think there was a lot of shocks that came with the draft.
Shocks.
Like whether it be like the Heisman Trophy winner of this last year not getting drafted until like halfway through the first round.
Yeah, he
So,
fell a bit.
I
Or
wasn't expecting that.
the Packers taking a non-receiver made a lot of Packer fans a little upset.
Made a lot of Packer quarterbacks a little bit upset.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a little bit because there's some serious drama going on in the world of Green Bay. Kaylin,
True.
are you a big NFL fan? And if so, who's your favorite team?
I am a big Packers fan. Yes.
God, okay.
Yes. I
Well,
know. I know. You guys are from the Vikings camp. Traitors.
Yes. Traitors?
Here's
Well,
here's
okay.
the Packers.
Skylar's not a traitor. You live in Wisconsin, so that makes you a traitor.
I can see Minnesota from my house, basically.
Okay. But you're still in Keith's
You were
headland.
born in Racine, though.
True. Anyways, Kaylin, how do you feel about the Packers' first-round selection cornerback Eric Stokes when a lot of people thought the Packers could and should take a receiver?
Well, considering cornerbacks have screwed us over in the past, I would say it's still a pretty strong option. Pretty strong pick.
Would you
Yeah.
say
It's an important
you're
position.
stoked?
I wouldn't say I'm stoked, but I would say it might prevent some heartbreak in the future. Potentially.
Were you hoping for more Elijah Moore, receiver?
Bill was stoked.
Bill stoked. Phil, were you actually stoked, or are you just copying the pun that Skylar just said?
It's hard to know. So many people just want to beat me.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were surprised. I know I was watching it with some guys on in my res hall, and a lot of them were Packer fans, and they were shooketh that they did not take a receiver. I will tell you this: I am happy that the Packers were not able to take Gopher receiver Rashad Bateman. He fell to Baltimore at number 27. The Packers don't deserve him. I was scared he was going to go to Green Bay.
I mean, we'll take what we can get, even if it's from Minnesota.
I mean, Minnesota does produce. I mean,
Yeah, we do.
Gophers this last year had 2 Super Bowl winners.
They did. They did.
At least 2 Super Bowl. I don't know if there's any more Minnesota on that Bucks team or not.
No, but the Chiefs had a guy from Minnesota. He lost the Super Bowl, so that was pretty cool.
What a stud muffin.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was a big week in the NFL. There was a guy who went to Wisco, just down the street from us, who got
I did hear
drafted.
that.
Yeah, that's crazy. He got drafted in the 7th round by the LA Rams. Chris something?
Exciting.
I just think that's really cool. So, and
Yeah,
then
that's crazy.
a
From one of our
D3.
Wells High schools.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But then we had a Division III lineman from Wisconsin, UW Whitewater to be exact, got drafted in the 3rd round. So that's pretty cool. That says a lot about him.
Pretty crazy. I mean, that's coming from
Impressive.
D3, right? Whitewater's D3.
Yeah.
That's coming from D3 football, which is like, you don't really see too many of those guys get drafted, but when they do, it's because they're like all out studs.
Philip says his name Chris
Is that
Garrett.
the kind of guy? Is that the kind of guy where he just didn't get scouted enough in high school, or does he get that much better in college? Like, how does that happen?
So that can happen in a number of ways, I would say. You know, you run into like these athletes that are thinking to themselves, like coming out of high school, you have so many schools looking at you, and like ultimately you decide where you're going to go. So you basically pick your own destiny. And so some guys will base the schools that they choose off of like whether or not they're going to be impactful on the team right away as soon as they come out. Or if they're going to like sit at a really, really good school and then just kind of develop until they like are able to like get their chance and opportunity to step out on the football field. And in the case of him, like he might just be like one of those like hidden gems where like he was getting looks, but then like he came to full potential when he got to college. I honestly don't really know much of his backstory or anything, or if he like transferred from like a D2 school or D1 school to Whitewater. I don't know.
I'll look it
He
up.
might have had terrible grades and been a liability to a D1 team. That's
He very
always an
well could have
option.
I know that he trained in the woods.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen videos of him benching in the woods.
Like LeBron
Oh.
James.
Almost like LeBron James. Let's see here.
But yeah, so it could have been like any one of those things that I kind of pointed out.
24/7 Sports would talk about it.
But yeah, I mean, it's such a cool story though, like being D3 and going pro. Because I mean, like obviously it doesn't happen often, but when it does, it's like something to be celebrated. Like that's like true talent, and like it shows that hard work can get you basically.
Oh,
where
that's you.
wanna
You're
be.
next.
And
Oh,
being
gosh, yeah.
yeah, and that's the thing, being drafted that high. I mean, 3rd round, that's a guy you're expecting to not only contribute, but be a probable starter in a round like that. So I want to talk about the Vikings picking a quarterback in the 3rd round, Kellen Mond out of A&M. There's been some rumors circulating that Kirk Cousins is not thrilled with that pick. You think that the Vikings are like planning for the future without him by picking him. It's a pretty low risk, high reward sort of pick because he can sit for a few years behind Kirk, learn the offense, learn the NFL. He's kind of a raw quarterback, but he started 4 years at Texas A&M. I guess I've heard the mechanics aren't all there yet, but I feel like it's a good situation for him to be in.
I think the Vikings are finally like trying to like find someone that they can like build and develop and
Yes.
kind of like grow into their system, which is something that the team has not done in a while. I mean, we took chances with like Christian Ponder in the past, and he sucked.
Yeah, that was not good. That was bad.
Like we had our run-in with like super old quarterbacks that we tried to get that were
Washed up, man.
a little bit washed up, a little bit past their time. past
Brett
their-
Favre.
How long has Cousins been with them?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
How long has Cousins been there?
Since 2018. So he's been with us for 3 years.
3 years.
It's
Yeah.
not long.
And he's been good statistically, but the knock against him has been he's never been able to take his team to the next level. And
He's not a clutch performer.
No, he's kind of the type of quarterback that you need to build around, not where he can elevate the play of everyone around him.
Okay.
And the Vikings have kind of neglected that in terms of their offensive line because he's not a mobile guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one thing that he like really lacks.
Yeah, he can make all the throws. But
We've
that
seen that one time and time again.
exactly, but if you don't have time to throw it, you can't make those throws.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a few comments here. Scott says the NFL had a draft.
They did.
Jonathan says I trained in the woods and look where I am now. Carson says, what on earth does the mechanics aren't there yet mean? Well, I will say this, like, consistency throwing the ball accurately to different parts of the field. Like, you know.
Like a pretty, like, basic necessity in a quarterback, though.
Right. Like, he's inconsistent with, like, throwing motion and stuff.
There's a lot of developmental things that need to be addressed in order for him to become a starter in the NFL.
Yeah. Philip says that Jonathan's new name is Jonathan Woodzow. Ben David says his car broke down. The mechanics are on their way.
I was thinking about mechanic fun for that.
That's pretty good. Yeah, so it was a big week in the NFL with the draft. Now we kind of enter that dry period where it's between like OTAs, training camp. Next few months are going to be kind of bleh.
Yeah, and like we mentioned
So
last
sad.
week, the OTAs are like an optional thing for like each team.
Is that what the O stands for, actually? Is like optional training something?
I actually don't think so.
Okay.
Because like generally like OTAs is something that the team attends like as a team.
Oh.
And that's something that's been like optional this year.
Outdoor team activities. Forced family fun.
Scott commented about the draft, so let's see if you can back us up on some details on what OTA means.
Optional team activity. That's what Nathan says. It might be optional.
It says organized team activity.
Oh,
A preseason
organized.
to the preseason.
Kaylin, you have replaced Scott as our fact checker. Congratulations, you're hired.
You're
Let's go.
Wow, interesting. In the world of baseball today, you want to do the?
Oh, you want me to actually play now?
I mean, you were doing so well before. I just love hearing you play that.
I love hearing you talk.
Oh, thank you.
So keep doing it.
In baseball today, Baltimore Orioles pitcher John Means threw a no-hitter today, already the third no-hitter in the baseball season.
But was it perfect?
It was not a perfect game.
What a
And
loser.
His only blemish was he actually struck a guy out, but it was a wild pitch. And if that's the case, the runner has the option to run to first, and if the catcher cannot throw the ball to the first baseman before the runner gets there, the runner is actually safe, even though it counts as a strikeout. So a pitcher could actually strike out 4 batters in an inning, in theory, if one of them reached. So that was his only blemish. Kind of ironic that there's one error he struck a guy out on. So
How is wild pitch defined? Because if it's a strike, the catcher not catching it.
well, it was a strike in the sense that it was a low throw, like it skipped in
Okay.
the ground, but the hitter swung and
It's swung.
missed. So that's a strike.
I see.
Yeah. Yep.
I see.
Yeah. It is kind of confusing though if you're not too familiar with like the sport. Carson said the Rockies had a 6-run inning. Scott says that OTA stands for Offensive Tackle Administration. Benjamin says, unfortunately, I am not related to Rashad. He's referring to Rashad Bateman. He might be the alpha Bateman. That's probably true.
Yeah. No offense, Ben.
Kaylin, are you a big baseball fan?
Not as big as football, but I'll watch Brewer games every now and then.
So
Do you like that, though?
the age-old question: stadium name change.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I'm a salty local resident, but I've seen a lot of Snapchat
Rooms for
filters
you.
lately of people at the game and just crossing off American Family Field and putting Miller Park in its place. So I think we'll get probably like a season of that, and then I think everyone will kind of settle in with it and be okay with it.
That's true. They do that.
He said, "Dude."
I mean, the logo's cool.
Shut up, Scott.
Sorry.
The
That's
logo's
good
cool.
that you're not... What?
It won't be the same.
Right. At least you're not one of those fans that's letting it ruin your night. You know, some people are
Do you have an example of
well,
who you're referring to?
well, not like particularly, but we've had other guests on here that express much more outward frustration for it and act like it's the end of the world.
It is.
Well, I feel like I've come to terms with it. I feel like when I first heard all of this, and even when the sign was being changed, I was out of town when the sign was changed, actually, and I was a little salty. That
So they didn't
obviously
tell
I
you?
wasn't going to stop it, but
They didn't ask.
wasn't
for
here to see
permission.
the last day of Miller Park.
Right, like you didn't know, like you guys, you gotta tell me when you're doing this so I know when to like soak it in and appreciate it.
Exactly. But,
That's
it's
tough.
too late now. Life moves forward.
That's a good outlook to
I
have.
just take it as it
That
comes.
is true. I was actually driving past Miller Park when they were tearing down the sign, So it was really cool. I actually got to see Iller Park,
Whoa, still?
and it was much sicker than Miller.
Oh, nice. Respect. That was muy comico. A little Spanish for you. We got a few more comments here. Scott, we're talking about the Minnesota Twins, who, again, yesterday blew a lead thanks to the bullpen. So shout out to them. He says the Twins should let their starting pitcher pitch the whole game because the bullpen just blows it. Scott, I couldn't agree with you more. Ben Bateman says, who would win in a race, me or Rashad? Gotta think it's close. I don't know. He ran a 4.3940.
Is the race on skates, though? Because I think Ben would take the cake on that
That's
one.
right. And actually, for those of you watching, and even if you're not watching now but watching later, Ben may or may not be our guest next week on Sports Desk.
Oh, spoiler.
So, sorry. Don't forget by the end of the show. So, Ben, if you can get a race with Rashad before next week, we'd love to hear about it. Okay, Izzy says, that was a good line. I think she was talking about your Iller Park one. Harrison says, Iller Park? Sheesh. Phil Mayo says, I don't know, man. Rashad looked a little slow. Sheesh. Oh, gosh. I think Rashad Bateman's going to be great. I'm a huge fan. I actually commented on his last post asking if he'd be on the show. I also texted...
We're desperate at this point.
I also texted Tim Tebow, and I think there's a decent chance because, one, his number was in his Instagram bio, and that man, that can't be a fraud because it's Tim Tebow. Like, he's a genuine dude. So I texted him, and he's coming to our school next month. So I think we have a decent shot.
That is right. Tim Tebow actually got like our Divine Servant Award that we give out every year, or try to give out every year. He was actually last year's guy, but because of COVID, we had to like push that off, and we pushed it off like 4 separate times now.
Yeah, crazy.
So we're shooting for over the summer. Actually, is when, like, honestly, I think it's in a month.
June 4th.
For him to come on campus and everything, and I think they're going to do a lot of that actually out at the football field at WLC. So
Oh, it's going to be there? I was wondering how they're going to do it.
I think so.
That's kind of cool. Hopefully it's good weather.
Oh yeah, and they'll have like a huge like tent too. So like
Okay.
I mean, you see like the tent outside of the parking, or in the parking lot outside of the library.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like similar to that, but I hear it's gonna be bigger.
I hope. Yeah. Wow.
Like
Yeah.
enough to fit a bunch of people in there, because I mean, a lot of people show up to this. A lot of
It's a big event on campus. Like our senior year of high school, President George Bush came, and then our freshman year, Tony Dungy came, and that was pretty cool. I actually got to talk to him for a brief moment. That was a really special time.
I
Were
waved
you
at
there?
him. I was sitting right next to you.
Oh, that's right. We went together. Yeah, I asked him a question. That was really cool. He like looked at me and then answered it. That was crazy.
I'm still
Oh,
bitter
yeah.
that I missed Tony Dungy.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
We didn't
Caitlin,
put out
do
the
you-
track practice in time.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. That's our next question. Is how did that make you feel?
Salty.
Okay, next subject. So Aaron Rodgers might be leaving Green Bay. How do you feel about that?
So that's another thing. It came on the radio. Is this on?
You kind of cut out there.
Yeah.
All I heard was it came on the radio.
Yeah, and then I was kind of waiting for what came.
Sorry, my computer keeps cutting out, but it came on the radio when I was driving on the way to a track meet, so I decided I couldn't handle the emotional turmoil right before competition, so I just turned it off, and honestly, I've been avoiding it since.
Well, I'm
So
sorry.
I think something kind of bad might happen, but also until it happens, I'm ignoring it.
Okay. Well, would you like to hear anything from our point of view?
Yeah, hear your input.
All right. Well, even if you didn't want to, we're going to talk about it.
We're gonna do it anyway.
Well, good.
So a few of the things that I've come across regarding the Aaron Rodgers situation is the Packers have released statements saying that they are not looking to get rid of Aaron Rodgers anytime soon. And even if they do, it would have to be through like a holdout situation where we've seen pretty commonly with running backs where they are, I don't know why running backs are the first one that came to my mind, but I think, was it Aaron Jones that was gonna withhold
That sounds
if
familiar.
he didn't get paid? He's a Packers running back, for those of you who don't know. But basically what they do is they won't show up to practices, they won't like go to their games or anything like that until they either get like a pay raise or like something like that. And Aaron Rodgers is saying he would like it if their GM was fired. They get rid of him and they bring in a new guy.
Out of there.
Someone better.
And
ideally.
Apparently, the one of the factors too that's played into this was, I want to say last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, former Packers receiver Jake Kumaro was praised by Aaron Rodgers, and then the next day he was cut by the Packers. He now plays for the Bills. And so I wonder if Rodgers took that as like, okay, my opinion doesn't matter. And I think Rodgers wants more input in the personnel decision-making for the team. I'm not sure if the team is willing to give him that much power.
There's definitely at least the impression that there's butting heads with LaFleur. Ever since LaFleur came on, it's not necessarily Rodgers running his offense the way he likes to run his offense. And I think that was very clear, especially first season with LaFleur. It seemed to just have some tension. But I think also at the conference championship, kicking the field goal is not a good look, because why are you not trusting your MVP quarterback to make the play?
Yeah.
So even just like little things like that along the way, I understand where he's coming from. At the same time, I do think he's become increasingly more of a diva in his time on the Packers. So I don't know. Hopefully,
I think she cut out again.
I can't help but assume that that's the case.
Kaylin, can you try speaking?
yes, I'm back.
Okay,
They
she's
quit
here.
on me again.
That's okay. We just want to make sure you didn't quit on us.
Sorry, everyone.
That's okay. We got a few comments we're going to address, Kaylin, then we're going to get back to your point. Benjamin Bateman says he's going to shoot Rashad Bateman an email. Shouldn't be hard to type that since you guys have the same last name. Phil says we should interview Tim Tebow during the Divine Servant Award celebration. Unfortunately, my friend is getting married that day, so I feel a little obligated because I'm in the wedding party.
It'll just be a one-on-one, me and Tim.
That's not fair.
You gotta pick him for the team, dude.
Scott says that Frankie wants to be the guest speaker next week. Who's Frankie, Skylar?
Frankie is my little brother.
Oh, cute. Carson has a good question that I think, Kaylin, you are qualified to answer. How old is too old to be playing in the NFL?
Good question, because I mean, Tom Brady still throws down. I've actually had a conversation with track coach, Coach Kramer, about this, and we were talking about the oldest players in the NFL.
I was in the weight room when you did that.
Oh yeah, you were there. Yeah, I don't know. I think if you still got it, you still got it. I personally am falling to pieces at age 22, so I couldn't possibly fathom how they still got it, but good for them.
Can you give the viewers a definitive number?
A definitive number? I mean, I feel like 40 is kind of the general cutoff. Like, what 40-year-old is still really, like, at peak fitness to be getting hit?
Kickers.
They're not allowed.
Apparently Tom Brady.
So they're the exception.
Okay. I think once you're past age 31, 32, especially if like you're a corner, I think your performance can drop significantly. I hear like 30 is kind of that hump as well.
When you start going downhill just a little bit,
You just collapse.
you'll lose a step on the
That's
youngins.
It's like literally midnight on your 30th birthday, you're slower. That's how
Don't know why or how it
I
happened.
think you're right.
How it goes down.
You want to know an old guy who's still producing in the NFL, who everyone loves, is Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
The guy's like 37. He's been in the league since like 2004. Still producing. Slow as a rock, but productive. That's all that matters.
I mean, I guess you can argue if you know the game inside and out well enough and can predict what you need to be doing, then theoretically,
She was saying theoretically, I think.
He can play forever. I'm finishing your sentence.
overcome the loss of physical ability with knowing the game. But again, if everyone else knows the game and has the physical ability, you're still falling short.
That's true. That's so true. That's a very good analysis. Is anything happening in the NBA, Skylar?
So much stuff. All the fun stuff.
And I asked that genuinely not knowing.
There's still so much like circling the Ball brothers and like one of the Ball brothers, I think it was maybe Lonzo, dropped like 30 on the T-Wolves the other night.
What a shock.
Handing them their first loss in like maybe 4 games.
Yeah.
which I mean was bound to happen. We were bound to see them lose sometimes. So
Never.
but other than that, like I don't know. I just hate seeing how much like media coverage is on like the Ball brothers, just because I feel like it's like unwarranted and rather annoying.
There could literally be a House of Highlights post for how LaMelo Ball drinks water. And that's not even that much of an like stretch. Like there might be a post like I'm sure do you follow House of Highlights still?
I do, yeah.
It's gone downhill tremendously, I think. But there might be a caption that's saying, "Oh, LaMelo going off tonight," and it's maybe one good play, but he in the game has like 7 points, and he just made like one good play, and it's just kind of annoying that it's like misleading. I feel like you're almost trying to, it's like propaganda to say, no, he's a great player. He's a good player, but it's basically House of LaMelo at this point. They only post about him.
Yeah.
That's my little rant for the day.
Yeah, other than that, I don't really keep too many tabs on the NBA just because that's one of those things that only gets interesting come the playoffs. Because that's when, like, the intensity is ramped up, and that's when it's, like, fun to watch.
Kaylin, are you a Bucks fan, I'm guessing, if we're going to continue the Wisconsin trend here?
Yeah, I mean, I really make it a point not to follow the NBA. Just because I think it's a bunch of super tall dudes who, like, are all good, and so they don't try that hard. So I guess, yeah, I'm a Bucks fan, but that's only if I had to choose. And I do like Giannis, but...
Everyone likes Giannis.
Everyone likes Giannis.
You know, I think there's something to be said for the difference between college and NBA for basketball.
Yeah, those guys in college are playing for, like, the love of the game.
Yeah,
Exactly.
They're not guaranteed the NBA.
And the guys in the NBA are just kind of nonchalant, especially during the season. It's like nonchalant.
Exactly.
Like they don't really care if they lose that one game or that two games or whatever back-to-back games. It doesn't matter. They could care less. They're still getting paid at the end of the day.
The ego of some of the NBA players nowadays is crazy. And I know that's true in a lot of sports, but yeah, kind of like you said, Skylar, they know they're going to get paid. So, you know, and Carson has a comment that's kind of, you know, not too far off saying, facts, the NBA is just a dunk contest with no defense. There are a lot of times you will see a lack of fundamentals in the NBA. It's tough. It's tough to watch. But hey, that's all for the NBA. Let's go local WLC. Ooh, ooh.
I'll get the guitar out.
I was waiting. No, it's okay.
Sorry.
Take your time.
Sorry,
Do you want to sing Coco song? Poco Loco. Oh, we do have one quick comment. Do we think sports players should be paid less? Would that encourage more effort?
Honestly,
Deep question.
Honestly, I don't think that is going to do anything just because their pay grade is based off of revenue that they generate as a league.
Should ban fans.
Which is also why there's not equal pay when it comes to like the women's sports versus the men's sports because it's revenue based and the men's sports tend to bring in more money.
True. Kaylin, your thoughts on that question?
Sorry, the thoughts on the men versus women, or
Just do you think sports players should be paid less? Would that encourage more effort? What do you think?
I don't think it would necessarily encourage more effort, but like ethically speaking, I think it's a little outlandish how much some of these people are getting paid.
It's a lot of money.
It is a lot. But at this point, again, it's revenue based. Like if they're bringing in money, like that's just how it's going to be. They're going to be getting paid that much.
That is true. Very true. That's a good question, though. It's a good question, Ben. Carson says the NBA's prime napping background noise, though, and she asks Ben personally, how do you feel about college sports? It's a private question. I don't know if that was meant for...
Save that for the DMs, Carson.
I don't know if that was meant for our eyes to see, but I'm privileged that we got to see it.
Getting personal up in here.
Hey, what's happening in the world of WLC sports, though, Skylar?
Oh, yes, WLC Sports. Prior to this episode of SportzDescx, Jake was like, oh, yeah, there's WLC Sports is not going on.
Oh,
Lies!
Falso, lo siento. It just slowed down a little bit.
There is actually quite a bit of
Okay, I was wrong.
mumbo jumbo that's going on in the WLC sports world.
No disrespect.
Like we still have baseball going on. Soccer actually just finished up. Men's soccer finished up. Oh, what's that?
I
What'd you
accidentally
do?
clicked something.
Well, don't do that.
Okay, unclick.
Track and field is not.
I knew that was coming.
That was not on me. Don't worry. Fear not, Kaylin. This is normal.
Stick to the script.
I don't know what we're talking about. Women's track ran on April 9th, and men's track runs on May 12th. What does this mean?
Hold on. You know what? Let me just read it.
Skylar, I can't read your scripts.
None of those were true, I don't think.
Oh, no, they finished 4th out of 9th. Is that what that means?
Okay, so the 9 teams. Okay, so our track teams just recently competed on April 30th, and women's track ended up placing 4th out of the 9 teams that.
That's what that means.
Men's track happened to take 5th out of the 12 teams that were there, which is pretty solid. Women's golf took 5th out of the 10 teams that were there. Softball swept Alverno. Actually pitched shutouts in both games, 11-0 and 8-0.
That's 19-0.
Just pretty solid. And then they play those games back to back like double headers. And then come May 1st, which was Saturday, correct?
Yes. Key's birthday.
Kara's birthday. On
Happy birthday, Key.
On May 1st, golf, women's golf. You know, I hear that the men's, right, it's men's coach.
The men's coach.
Men's coach is on the hot seat.
I hear he's just the worst.
So the female golfers,
their coach is great.
Placed 5th out of the 10 teams that were there. I have not looked up any locations of this stuff. But baseball and softball both had games. Baseball got swept on May 1st by Edgewood, 15-3, and then 15-4. So not really close games. And then softball pitched another sweep against Alverno again.
Boy, 4 wins in one weekend.
That's 4 games against the same team, and they completely shut them out in their first day on April 30th, and then on May 1st they came back and swept them again, which is pretty crazy.
That's just crazy. Took the broomsticks to them. But then baseball came back on Sunday.
Yeah.
Good for them.
May 2nd, women's golf had their NAC championship, so the conference championship, and they placed 5th.
Out of 10 teams?
Out of 10
okay,
teams.
it's not bad.
So then baseball came back, and they ended up sweeping Edgewood. So currently their record stands at 13-22. Women's softball is standing at 15-23. And May 3rd, women's tennis and men's tennis duked it out. And they both came away with some dubs. Right now, men's tennis is 4-7, and women's tennis is 10-11.
Nice.
So they're actually doing really well this year.
What was May 3rd was Monday, right?
I'm curious as to why the guys do not have nearly as many games as the girls do.
Do you think maybe some of their matches got canceled, like maybe COVID?
I think it might be like COVID related, but also, I mean, you and I hear a lot about cases on campus, and I don't recall hearing anything about any of the teams being shut down. So
I will add as well, on May 3rd, men's soccer played exhibition game against Lawrence University, lost 2-1. It didn't really count for anything because they played in the NAC championship a few days prior, but closed out their season losing 2-1, and so I believe their season completely done.
Yep, completely done. They finished 4-3-3, so they had a positive record.
Yeah,
which is great for them.
Was that 10 games? Okay,
something like that. And I mean, obviously, we heard how they did in the playoffs, and they actually fared well. They advanced to the right championship, was it? Or was it?
Yeah, they were in the NAC North Championship.
And they lost in a shootout.
Yeah.
So the duration of the game ended in the 90th minute, or however they played injury time.
Yeah.
And then after that, they played a little bit of overtime. And then we're still scoreless after those bouts of time.
Yeah.
And then went into a penalty shootout, and then that's where they ended up losing.
True. Looks like we got track and field coming up.
That's right.
Yes. Conference meet.
That's right.
Oh my
Conference
goodness.
championship.
Can't wait to
Gonna be a big one.
That's right. Caitlin, tell us. I mean, you're on the track team. We've heard you mention Kramer a few times, mention track a few times. Tell us what you do on the track team.
Oh, well, I do a little bit of everything on the track team.
Swiss Army knife.
So it's Sam Rodmeyer and Megan Stroutman and I are multi-athletes. So we girls do the heptathlon and the boys do the decathlon for conference. And basically what that means is for us it's 7 events across the 2 days scored as one event. So each event is scored, like assigned a score depending how you perform based on like the world records in that event. And it's all compiled at the end to determine a winner. So that's going to be, the first day is 100 hurdles, high jump, shot put, and a 200. And the second day is long jump, javelin throw, and an 800. So I'm doing that, and then I'm also doing 4 open events across the course of those 2 days. So it'll be real busy, but it'll be a good time.
No kidding.
What is your favorite event to do?
It's a tough one. I feel like this year it's definitely become high jump just because we have a really awesome coach. She was an athlete under Coach Kramer at UWM, so she's really great. Very good at picking out every little thing and helping you fix it. And I've just been on a big upswing in that this year, so naturally it's fun when you're improving.
Absolutely.
So that's probably my favorite right now.
Now, have you done track here at WLC all 4 years, and even prior to that, how long have you been competing in track?
Yes. So I started track my sophomore year of high school, but that was when I was like in cross country and stuff, so I was more of a mid-distance runner. I started hurdles like my junior and senior year, but I did not do any field events till I came here. So I learned it all kind of late, but it's been super fun.
Wow.
Gotcha. Did you play any other sports? Sorry.
No, you're good.
In high school?
In your life.
Oh, in high school, I started out in volleyball, basketball, and softball. Then I quit softball sophomore year to do track. I got cut from volleyball. Junior year, did cross country. And then basketball, I just didn't do anymore, so I lifted.
Okay.
So,
wow.
a couple different things in there.
Shabby.
Now, how would you say, because you're a senior, so you'll be graduating. Yeah. How do you think the future of the program looks based on what you've seen this year? Do we have a strong lower classes, freshman, sophomore? Do we have a lot of big recruits coming in? Kind of give us a preview of what the future of the program will be.
I don't know too much about recruits, but we definitely have some really strong seniors graduating. Obviously, Kendra is shattering records this year, so that'll be a pretty big loss. Brooke Malco will be scoring. We got on the boys' end, like I know Sam Boone. And I think Keith might not be here again next year, so we'll be losing a lot of him too. But we definitely have a really strong younger group. Boys sprinters,
too, I think, right?
We got some fast freshman sprinters, and some of them are starting different events. We got one who just started high jump a couple weeks ago, and he's looking solid. So I'm assuming he'll keep doing that in the next 2 years. Anna Rosh is a really fast freshman girl sprinter, so we definitely have some young talent. Grace Whitey in the hurdles and Natalie Lent in hurdles and jumps. Yes. So we definitely still have a lot of talent coming up. I'm not too sure about recruits, but I'm sure Kramer's out there putting in the work, getting some solid athletes. So I think it looks promising.
Very cool. It's good to see you want to see a school maintain that success that you've worked so hard to build. So that's good that the future looks bright for you guys.
Yeah, and I mean, women came second in conference last time we had an outdoor conference meet, so 2 years ago. So we're hoping to pull off the W this year. Our numbers are looking pretty good, so we might be able to pull it off.
Kaylin, a question for you from Scott. Scott asked, do you throw javelin?
I do. Not well, but I throw it.
There you go, Scott.
For the heptathlon. Not in the open event, but for the heptathlon, yeah.
Very cool.
It's fun. It's fun throwing long, pointy things.
What's your favorite field event?
I mean, high jump technically is a field event.
I was actually wondering that after I asked it, if that was considered a field event.
This guy.
I actually just picked up triple jump a couple weeks ago, though, because there were not a lot of girls in our conference who had done it. So coach was just like, hey, any volunteers? And that actually is a lot of fun. And I don't know if it's just because it's new and novel, but I really do like me some triple jump.
Nice.
I've seen some videos of people doing triple jump, and it looks like such an interesting event. You're jumping 3 times.
Pretty sure my dad actually, Scott, the almighty commenter, Pretty sure he holds the triple jump record back at his high school, which has stood
Really?
for quite a while now, actually.
Scott, can you confirm this?
Impressive.
Shouldn't take long to type yes.
He's not listening anymore.
Well, Scott, whenever you end up tuning in again,
Father,
do you hold the record for triple jump at your high school? We want to know. But that's really great, Kaylin, that you started something new. Like, I think that speaks a lot about you and your adaptability. Senior year of high school, starting a brand new event. And from what we can tell, doing well at it as well. So that's pretty cool.
I mean, in high school, it was always my dream to try everything, and there was never time then. So then, freshman year, Coach Shelby was like, "You want to be a multi? Sure." So I gotta thank her for her willingness to teach me.
Nice.
Scott confirms the rumors, by the way.
Nice. Now, do you hold that same mindset when it comes to trying food?
Oh, no.
I mean, what kind of food?
Like all kinds of food that you have never had before.
The edible kind that you eat?
I'm not that adventurous with food, I'm not gonna lie. Although Sam Rodmeyer made us, for our indoor multi-meet last year, go to Hoo Hop Mongolian Grill after day one.
Slaps.
And I had never been there, and I was just like, really, Sam, you're choosing something kind of out there, like right after competition? But I didn't have to run the next day, and he did. So I was like, all right, your problem, not mine. And honestly, you're right. It did very much slap. So I misjudged it.
Yeah, it's very good.
We do
have a lot of health code violations, but it's good.
Hey,
we do have a question from Scott for you, Kaylin, asking what your triple jump PR is.
Oh, he wants to compare, eh?
Oh, let's see. I have to look it up because I only did it one time.
Well, Scott, what's your triple jump PR there?
He's like, check the record books.
Check the Guinness World Record book. Okay, Scott, get off your high horse. Kidding, love you. Never stop watching.
Okay, hang on.
Well, while Kaylin checks that, we're going to tell you our zodiac signs.
Scorpio.
Gemini. Do you have it yet, Kaylin?
Yes, it is. It's 9.64 meters, which is 31 feet and 7.5 inches.
All right, Scott says 40 feet, 1/2 inch.
Oh.
What was Kaylin's again?
30.
31 and 7.5 inches.
31, 7.5 inches. Scott with 40 feet and 1/2 inch. So Kaylin came in second in that.
Definitely.
Good job.
By far.
Gracias.
I hope so. I've done it one time.
Yeah, Scott, give her a break. Stop flexing on YouTube comment sections, man. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Kaylin, it is great hearing about your track career. Do we have anything notable left to talk about? I know we're kind of 42 minutes in already. It's pretty...
You know, we don't have anything written down here.
I neglected to write the notes this week, so
Clean slate.
shout out to Skylar for at least having something written down, because Lord knows it would not have been smooth if we had nothing.
I tried to quickly write stuff with the little 10 minutes that we had.
Turns out we have more time due to the tech problems, but I don't personally have anything more to say.
If anybody has any more questions for Kaylin, or for us in general, I mean, we'd love to answer them. We'd love to read your questions and then read them back to everybody. So.
Yeah, and we'd love to hear your zodiac signs.
Yeah, no kidding.
Scott says
all about it.
Scott says with practice you can beat the record. He spelled beat wrong, but you can get past that.
I got like 2 more days.
Okay, well, I think you know what you have to do for the next 2 days.
Beat
Triple jump all the way to class, to the calf, everywhere you go. Triple jump.
No,
but
that might be smart.
no, if
probably, but
here we go, Kaylin. We got a question for you from Carson. What's your comfort show?
Right now I'm watching The Good Place, which I've already watched before, but usually How I Met Your Mother or Friends.
Interesting choices. Good Place is a good show. So is How I Met Your Mother, but I've yet to see all of it.
Oh, the ending's the best part.
I hear the ending's the worst part of that show.
Well, a lot of people hated it. I liked it the first time I saw it, and the second time I saw it, I kind of didn't. So it's a love-hate thing.
We've gotten like halfway through that series, but we've never actually like reached the end of it.
I think I jumped in on season 3 freshman year, and we haven't watched it consistently since with you. Tough. Maybe sometime.
I think it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if we have no more questions, Kaylin, it was great to have you on this
Thanks
show.
for
You
having
really,
me.
absolutely. We greatly appreciate your patience as we sort through the technical difficulties. Sorry we couldn't have you visibly on the show,
That's okay.
but yeah,
It's so good fun.
yeah, absolutely. We loved hearing from you. Everyone, go support track and field this Friday
And Saturday.
and Saturday. What the location of that is?
Home.
It's home at Robbie Stadium. So go support track and field. Kaylin Chevy was with us. Yeah, so with that, I'm just going to say one last closing Spanish phrase, and then Skylar's going to knock us out of the park. We have dos más semanas de escritorio del deportes. Próxima semana con Benjamin Bateman posiblemente. Y próxima semana espero que tengamos Tim Tebow, pero no sabemos. Pero espero que ustedes tengan un buen noche, Skylar.
Sports Desk. Great faces, great places.
Dun, dun, dun. Aww.
Stupid.
That's the Coco line.